College and career were not in the cards. Boys were meant to grow up into men, acquire a trade, provide financially for their families, and rule the household, choosing their wife's friends and arranging their daughters' marriages. With twin eyes, we looked at each other, then out at our world, and asked, "Why? You gave us spades. We planned to dig." Buoyed by the kindness of unlooked-for allies along the way, we broke down walls, crossed boundaries, and scaled heights to become the interdisciplinary scholars that we are today. Scholars who are committed to recognizing and resisting the epistemic inequities that surround and suffuse us. We're definitely not what we were meant to be, but we're following the ever-becoming trajectory of the curiosity instilled in us. One that spans, one that connects, one that embraces, and one that builds. One that appreciates the cross-currents and coalitions within and through which we come to know. The real enemy of the human race is not the fearless and irresponsible thinker, be he right or wrong, writes educator Abraham Flexner. The real enemy is the man who tries to mold the human spirit so that it will not dare to spread its wings. While our local world was just such an enemy, the curiosity our mother instilled in us was an antidote, a counterpoint, a friend. Some would see our story as somewhat surprising, certainly strange, and perhaps downright alien. Yet many others would view our story as fairly commonplace and fully expected. The uncanny familiarity of our story stems from an uncomfortable fact. Curiosity is policed everywhere. The demarcation of curiosity for some bodies and not others, some times and not others, some spaces and not others, is not sequestered to small islands of human life, but rather pervades all of human society. People of differently assigned genders are given gifts and experiences to encourage their curiosity in some directions and not others. Doors are opened for people of some racial or ethnic backgrounds, classes, sexualities, and abilities, and not others. In some cultures, and not others. While the disadvantaged are held back, the privileged are offered freedom for their minds to roam the fields, scale the summits, and meander the byways of thought in search of knowledge. Even in institutions of higher learning, which we might expect to be the places where the human spirit can spread its wings, scholars are hired most often when their work falls into a pre-specified space, that of a department, a siloed discipline, or a reductively stipulated history or methodology of thought. Where does the narrowing, the constraining, the ruling of curiosity come from? Why do there exist supposedly right and wrong ways to be curious? Worthy and unworthy topics of curiosity? The naturally curious and the naturally incurious? In part, the answer lies in the oneness of curiosity. Curiosity is one word, one string of letters, one concept in the mind. To make one is to draw a boundary, a border, a wall that separates the one from anything else. When you have one, you also have not one. The existence of presence marks the existence of absence. When you have something, then you must also have nothing. Unity permits dichotomy. Unity chooses simplicity over complexity. In using a single word, a single concept, a single history, we allow curiosity to be defined, parameterized, and yes, eventually regulated. What people have perhaps too often forgotten is the manyness of curiosity. Its multiple manifestations, its plethora of practices, and its kindred kinds in many bodies. Despite the one and many nature of curiosity, many people hearken only to the former and eschew the latter. But need they? What kind of world might embrace curiosity's manyness? How might we define a multitudinous curiosity? What disciplines might we need to span? What relations might we grasp? What humilities and histories might we need to embrace?